All right, all right. I think I got both of them on the line. Kenneth, you good?
Yes, sir.
Greg, you good?
I am.
All right, man. We're live. We're live. So welcome everybody to the EmpowerNOW podcast. I am so excited to announce our first episode of season 1. Today we're going to be talking about purpose. So we're starting off a Power Hour series where we're going to be breaking down power. So every episode will be focused on a single element related to the acronym. Again, for those that don't know, power stands for purpose, opportunity, work ethic, excellence, and relationships. And today we're going to start off with purpose, which is really awesome to kind of kick this all off. Before we go any further, I'm going to start us off with a prayer, and then I'm going to introduce these phenomenal brothers that's on the line with me today. So you can bow with me, and if you're driving, please keep driving. Don't worry about bowing your head while you're driving. Lord, this has been a culmination of a whole lot of things, but this moment is finally here, Lord. I'm grateful for you being able to let me be a mouthpiece today. I pray the same for my brother Greg and my brother Kenneth. Father, I pray that you can be able to get the glory out of this situation, that you can be able to show up in the midst, and let this just stir up the gift in somebody. Let this be a motivation journey, somebody that can springboard them into their purpose. Let this be the podcast that can help stir up some encouragement, help somebody to know what it means to empower right here, right now, Lord. So just like how we'll take this time to reflect and dialogue and connect, Father, I pray that you can be able to use this to bring somebody closer to you that either may not know you or has drifted from you or needs re-encouragement to know that all things are going to work out. So I just thank you for this time. I pray that we can be able to make the most of it, Lord. And again, at the end of the day, that you can get the glory. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So I'm going to give a chance for my brothers to introduce themselves, and then I'll give more context about the episode today. But with that, I'm going to start with Greg. So Greg, go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners, man.
Absolutely, bro. First of all, I want to send you some positivity and love, gratitude for just allowing me to be here on your platform. Man, it's an honor for me to be here and share this stage with you. So I'm grateful for that. So I appreciate you opening the doors. To everybody that's listening, my name is Greg Shields. I am a pretty decent friend to Mr. Reggie White. We have literally grown up together, same neighborhood, right across the street, and has truly been a brother since the beginning, from essentially middle school on. We've been locked in, but I am recently married engineer, currently living in the Virginia area, PG native, and yeah, I'm probably just somebody that I like to stay low but have a good time. So I think empowerment is a good place for me. So yeah, I'm gonna keep that simple.
Yeah,
right,
man.
Kenneth.
Yeah, and my name is Kenneth, but you can call me Ken or Kenneth, whatever works good for you, man. And so I am a 23-year-old man of God is the best way I can kind of tell you guys who I am in one sentence. I met Reggie through one of my brothers, one of my closest brother. His name is AJ. He met Reggie because he's in engineering. Obviously, Reggie's in engineering as well. I think they met at some type of, I think it's NSBE conference, National Society of Black Engineers. And I was able to meet Reggie, man. And just from the moment that I met Reggie, I knew there was something in him that was also in me. So that's kind of how we connected, but we also are both men of God. I host a Bible study that a few of my friends, including Reggie, are participants of every Tuesday night at 7:30. Also have an Instagram page that I share with one of my brothers called The Third Day on Instagram, man. And by profession, I am a personal trainer, but I got my degree from university in marketing. So right now, man, I just graduated from university a year ago, back in 2022, man. So really, I'm just out in the workforce trying to build that work ethic.
Man, thank y'all so much for taking time to tell that story. I'm not going to make it about me. The listeners will learn more and more about me. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Reggie White. And I'm just a person that believes if you get one little moment to get the push, man, it's amazing what you can do. So I'm the definition of what it means when you don't know what you're capable of and you get this nudge. And the next thing you know, you're doing things you never thought you could do. So if somebody's out there that feels like something's impossible, man, hopefully through this podcast, you can see that anything's possible. Hopefully through this podcast, you can see that if you get just somebody that believes in you and you tap in and you work at it, and you work hard, there's nothing you can't do. So before we go further, I do want to give a little more context about this whole concept and then what we'll be talking about in this episode. I really do believe that everybody's got a power inside them. And again, we'll break down that acronym. But the whole concept of what we're trying to do here, not just today, but what we'll do throughout the time of this podcast and future episodes, is what it means to truly empower right here, right now. Like right now in my background, we're in a Zoom call while we're doing this too. I got like a little icon that shows like a battery that's almost on E, and then another icon that shows the charge, and then another icon that shows a fully charged battery. So for somebody, you might be burnt out, you might be tapped out, you might not even sure how you're gonna make it through tomorrow, let alone today. And I'm just here to tell you that I encourage you to find a way to recharge, find a way to refuel. But if you're not using Jesus Christ as the forefront of that, it won't last. So I hope that you can be able to take time from this to be able to learn what true plugging in and what the true source is. And he's the true source. Another thing that I want to just share real quick is when we talk about like empowering the next generation, that's got to be through Jesus Christ. This world right now, more than ever before, needs Jesus Christ with all the things going on. And I'm not going to belabor that, let alone go into too much detail because I don't want to take away from today's conversation. But again, today, we're going to be talking about purpose. And per Oxford, purpose is the intention, aim, or function of something, the thing that something is supposed to achieve. So the why you do what you do is what purpose is all about. So I think this is a great place to start for this Power Hour series is purpose. The purpose of this podcast, I remember having a conversation with Greg a long time ago, was for people out there that just need some motivation and making every excuse of why they can't do something or why it shouldn't be them. And this podcast is hopefully going to be that nudge to tell you that you can do that thing that you said you didn't think you could do, or you can be somebody in this world because this world needs you. Another thing that I'll say, then I'll turn over to my brothers to see what their thoughts are about purpose is I believe wholeheartedly, without a doubt in my mind, that when you have a heartbeat, when you wake up every morning, that equals purpose. There is work yet to be done if your heart is booming. If you're able to move, you're able to function, you're able to walk, you're able to do little things, even if you're in a wheelchair and you're able to have cognitive thought and function, there is purpose and work yet to be done. So no day should be taken for granted. And that's something that I'm even working on myself because there's some other things I got to do and some changes that I got to make. But I'm starting where I'm at right now. I'm going to start where I am. I'm going to start taking steps towards making some changes as I go. But no more excuses is my mindset now. So with that, I'll start with Ken. Let us know what you think about, bro. When you think about purpose, what comes to mind for you?
Reggie, I want you to give us that definition one more time.
Yeah, so per Oxford, purpose is the intention, aim, or function of something. The thing that something is supposed to achieve.
That's hey, when they wrote that, they didn't know they was gonna write a whole sermon because that'll preach. I think when I first think about purpose, I think about something one of my AP science teachers told me in high school when it pertains to like biology is that form follows function. And as humans, the thing that makes us unique as it pertains to like animals is that we have a brain that can cognize to create things. So the form of humans is, we have the human body, but the function we have is based upon our uniqueness of thought. And our thoughts allow us to create things that are sometimes even bigger than us. So, man, when I think about purpose as it pertains to us, man, it's really about what form do you have and how can that kind of tell you a little bit more about the function that you're put here on earth to do.
Couldn't agree more, brother. All right, Greg, what's your thoughts? When you think about purpose, what comes to mind for you?
Oh, man, that's tough. First of all, what Ken said is very powerful. I can kind of, I've never met you, Ken, but I like you, bro. I like you. I appreciate just people that have like, kind of like that natural aura, and it's not forced, like I can tell you have that. And knowing Reggie, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. But let me answer the question. So my thoughts on purpose, it to me is just like that element of having something that kind of creates something in you that doesn't have to be forced. It's just that natural thing, that natural area that speaks to you and your spirit that allows you to kind of take action without you having to think about it, right? So I try to use different examples. Like, I feel like so I'm a basketball fan, right? Love NBA. We're not going to talk about my team. I'm just going to leave that to the side. But I look at somebody like AI, right? Allen Iverson, one of the greatest guards ever. He's tough as nails, but he has the heart of a lion, right? I feel like his purpose was to show that element of, you don't have to be what the billboard says. You don't have to be what the typical NBA player looks like, but you can still be just as effective. And people that come from where you come from can not only relate to you, but you can be the voice that people actually listen to, because you have that edge, but you understand how to like bridge the two together to still make it work. Like, he's one of those rare commodities that we have that can, again, speak to two sides of the spectrum. How to be a professional, but how to come from essentially a tough background and be able to still be successful. I am the person that doesn't have it all together, but knows how to still get through it. So that's what I think purpose is, and how it can be attached to different people or different things.
Man, powerful, fellas. I want to build upon what Kim was saying, because something came to my mind. So for my engineers out there, or those people in the world that's working in a environment where you have to make changes constantly and at a fast pace, something that I always was raised up in when I was going through like my manufacturing days and my engineering days in my past, was I was taught that before you make a major change, everybody has to understand how is it going to impact things from the form, fit, and function. So I want to build upon the fit really quick before I talk about function and form, like what Kenneth was talking about. You see, a lot of times we want to do everything under the sun, but we don't know our lane and we don't know where we fit. And the thing that I want to really stress upon, that I've been really struggling with my life, and I feel like I'm finally starting to get it, you can't fit a square peg in a round circle. There are some things you just weren't meant to do. And that's not to be harsh. That's not to hurt nobody's feelings. That's to say that you got to find what that niche is, what that thing is that makes you uniquely you, and own that thing, man. Stop trying to be somebody else. So many times we grow up in life and we're taught to do X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and Z equals success. But the ways of the world is not the ways of Lord Jesus Christ. You got to find how you tick, what works for you, what motivates you. What are the things that is like truly your call, your lane, and within alignment of His will. So again, that whole concept of fit, where do you fit in, and get in where you fit in, but not the way the world says stay in line and don't say nothing. No, get in where your lane is, where your calling is, what you can do. I still feel like I'm kind of figuring out myself, but the reality is I seem to always find a way to be in that platform or stage to talk, even though I don't want to talk. I want to curl up in a ball and beat it myself. But sometimes you got to go where you're uncomfortable. Sometimes you got to run to the thing that's most scaring you, or the scariest situation, rather than running away, because running isn't an option either. You only can run so long. I don't care who you are. You run, eventually you're going to get tired. So that thing you think you're running from, it's going to catch you eventually, whether you want to or not. But the question is, are you going to run right towards it and face it head on? Are you going to face that mountain? Are you going to face that line, or whatever that thing is? Or are you going to keep trying to do it on your own, in your own way, when God's trying to tell you, like, if you trust me, here's what I can do. So it's just really powerful. We'll talk more about form and function in a bit, but I want to keep this dialogue going, because I think what these brothers are saying is phenomenal. I want to also ask you guys a tough question too that you probably aren't ready for, but that's okay. I'm not ready for it either. When you think about your life, what's your purpose?
I can, well, first of all, I think that answer constantly changes. I don't think you can always have one set answer of what that is, because there's always a different season that you're in, and there's always something different that you have to grasp from that season in order to fulfill what that purpose is at that point. But if I can speak to me right now, I feel like my purpose is to add value, and by adding value, I feel like I'm the type of person that likes to take things that seem difficult or seem too monumental, and like essentially dumb it down to show that it's possible. And the reason why I feel like that is because I have always struggled with like feeling like I was smart enough or feeling like I was good enough or intelligent enough to be able to do things that just seemed like just way out there. But a part of my testimony is that I am somebody who never gives up. Like, I never give up. It really doesn't matter kind of how hard it is or what it is that I'm faced with. One thing I can always say about myself is that I never give up, even when I am in the doghouse. Like, it is bad. I'm failing classes. I'm not in the best situation of my career, like all kind of things. And one thing I can always say is I never give up. And so with that has shown me that as long as I continue to do that, I can find my own way. When you were talking about form and fit, I can form it some kind of way to fulfill whatever it is that I need to do. And once I figure it out, I can put my own spin on it to be able to articulate it to somebody else who may have had the same thought as me, or maybe felt like they couldn't achieve whatever that great thing was. And so I feel like my purpose is to take things that are difficult and show that it's possible if you have the right mindset and the right attitude. Yeah, let's stay there.
Ooh, man, he dropping bombs today, huh?
I'm trying to keep up with the heavy hitters, y'all bringing it out. So
man,
I'm letting the big guy upstairs do the rest,
Hey man, it's you. I would say, so kind of a little bit different from Greg. I believe that everyone's purpose is to spread the gospel, serve God, right? Of course, if you belong to the faith that we belong to, like, that is your purpose, and that does not change at all. My purpose as it pertains to, like, what am I supposed to do here? I really think that it's to build spaces where people can find their purpose is my purpose. And I'll tell you why. So like I said, I currently work as a personal trainer at my job. I work at a boutique private studio in Atlanta, Georgia. And right now, I am basically the internship coordinator for the entire business. So we have interns rolling through every semester, fall, spring, and summer, and I control that entire influx of interns. And the thing that I've seen from myself, just by being able to mentor, hire, also, I guess you could say, find these interns jobs after the internship, is that the interns that got the most out of the experience with my business got that because I allowed them to find out exactly who they were when they were under me. And I have 3 different areas of my life that I also do the same thing. But one of the biggest things I see it is in my work, just creating spaces for these young individuals who really don't know what they want to do to find out exactly at least what I'm good at doing. This is really just a testament. But a guy who I interviewed, his name is Cam Gibson. Cam, if you listen to this, bro, you are a superstar. But I was gonna hire him for the business, but I couldn't because we were cutting budgets. But he reached out to me just out of the blue after I broke the news to him that I couldn't hire him. He was like, "Hey, bro, I'm really looking for a job. Is there a way that you can help me?" And I sent him a few like places. I said, man, you can work at Crunch, you can work at this other business that we've done business that we partnered with before in the past. And about 2 days ago, he actually texted me and was like, hey man, I got an interview. And I was like, bro, I already know you're gonna ace it. Then he texted me literally yesterday and said, man, you won't believe I got the job. And just that literally lit me up, because I was just like so happy that I could just like facilitate the process of him finding what his purpose was. So man, there's evidence for this in my life, man. So it's really very rewarding too. Let's put it like that.
Man, I'm blown away right now, Ken, because you know everything you just was saying. I do the exact same thing when I work, right? I have an internship program that I run that has the spring, summer, and fall, but it's heavy on like a bunch of different functions for folks that are like engineers, folks that are in background like operations, HR is like over the whole thing. So it's just crazy. So God done connected us two for a reason, bro. We're going to have to keep that in mind. I'm going to just be brief here because, again, I don't want to make this about me. I really want to keep this dialogue going with you all. But for me, I agree wholeheartedly with Ken. I think that's a unified purpose of the body of Christ. But what I've learned for me is that my like calling, because there's a difference between the calling and the purpose. I think what I was born to do apparently was to uplift and encourage others. And I've seen elements of that in my life. And I'm telling you, the times where I felt the most alive is when I was able to motivate somebody that I feel is down. And there's definitely been days where I've been down. And I think to myself, man, I pray nobody ever feels the way I feel or goes through the things I've been through. And again, not to make it about me, Greg knows part of that story. But the reality is, I just want to make sure I can be able to uplift somebody. I want to be that hand that reaches out and holds somebody and lets them know they can get out that muck rather than staying stuck. This world can be crabs in a barrel real quick. So that's something that for me that I think about, especially now. I feel like these last 4 years, I've been really seeing elements of that. And it's like, okay, like if something's happening multiple times, that's not a coincidence. That's a sign, right? Like something's gotta shake. So that's where I finally am. I feel like I'm finally making some moves and stop making excuses of why I can't make those moves. So that's where I'm at. Let me ask you guys one more question, then I'm gonna let you guys flip the head on this question. Flip it on its head and you can ask questions. But the next question I have is, when you think about a concept of tying passion to purpose, what does that look like? What does that look like? What does that feel like when you think about the phrase tie passion to purpose?
Ken, I might let you attack that one first, brother. You on the roll.
It's good, man. The easiest way I can illustrate this is when you look at Jesus's life, and specifically Jesus's ministry and how it came about, and really just the timing of everything. So by virtue of his work, Jesus was a carpenter. He was a master builder, a man who was very skilled with his hands. And for all intents and purposes, we can call this his passion, because this is something that he did, that he was trained to do. So he was able to make money from this, and over time he got greater and greater and greater and greater at just carpentry. And we all know Jesus's purpose was to come to save, to be the final lamb of atonement for our sins, past, present, and future. And the way he did this was by having his 3-year ministry on earth. So if his passion is carpentry, for this example, and his purpose is being the sacrificial lamb, then what we see through Jesus's life is that for some reason, the most important thing he did, that was his purpose, didn't last long. His physical purpose didn't last long, but it was very impactful. Even more, the question becomes okay, if Jesus started his ministry at 30 and he died at 33. So that means 30 minus 33 is 3 years. So he had a 3-year ministry. What was he doing for that 30 years? Of course, for a period of it, he was just being a child. But for a large majority of his life, he was just working his passion. He was just doing his job, trying to be a good man. As we see in different biblical accounts, yes, when he was a child, he was preaching. When he was a little bit older, he was preaching. But he didn't really go full blast for his purpose until it was the appointed time, until the time was right. So what I'm saying by looking at Jesus' life, for his purpose being the sacrificial lamb and his passion being a carpenter, sometimes your passion will be the thing that leads to your purpose, or just the thing that exists outside of your purpose, maybe when that purpose just seems a little bit ambiguous, or you just have cloudiness over it. So there should be two things that you know, but one that you know for sure. The first thing that you know for sure should be, what do I do to make money? What do I do to work? What is something that I'm passionate enough about that people will pay me to do? And the second thing that you may not know, but you should know before you leave this earth, is, what was I actually put here to do at a high level?
Good night. Can we just, can I applaud? What can I do? Wow. That was perfect. I mean, the perfect example, the perfect billboard, like the perfect statement. Yes. Perfect example. I think similar to how I feel about my general purpose of just being a simplifier of things that might seem complex. I would just say that your purpose is the engine, but your passion is the fuel that goes in the engine. Just simple and plain. Like your purpose already is a built infrastructure to perform the task, right? Whether it's having a homeless shelter. Your homeless shelter is the structure that holds the people who are in need, to be able to have a place to live, a place to eat, whatever. But the actual passion comes with how you cater to that homeless shelter, how you cater to the purpose that you have, right? Your passion comes out when your purpose is way down the line and hasn't been fully executed. Like if you have something that you want to do, and you know what you want to do, your passion is what kind of gives you those steps to figure out how to actually do it. Even when you don't have the answers, when you don't know how to put it all together, your passion doesn't have to be woken up. It wakes you up. When you're not asking for it, or when you're not looking for it, it finds you.
Yes. And
how they tie together is when that execution is fully complete. When the marathon has fully been run, it's all glued together like one solid brick. So I think that's how they tie together. The engine the fuel allows the engine to run efficiently, so the car can do what it needs to do, or what it's destined to do.
Man, you guys are on a roll, man. This is awesome. Awesome. I'm just going to chime in a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it over to Ken and Greg to see if there's any other thoughts they got, and then we're going to wrap with some final thoughts, and that's going to be a wrap there. But one thing I want to add to what both of you all were saying is the thing we got to be careful of, so the watch outs, is don't be so on fire, so excited, so energizer bunny mindset that you go, and you don't remember to take time to rest. So I'm going to use a battery as an example. Let's use smartphones, because everybody's got them. That thing can do a whole lot of things, but if you don't remember to plug it up and charge, it's going to die. The thing you got to be really careful about is making sure, one, you're plugged into the right thing, you're not contaminating that charge, and you're finding ways to find consistent rest. I'm telling you right now, man, that is something I'm learning myself. And the moment you go, if you're not careful, your body will shut you down and make you rest. So the whole concept about time, passion, and purpose, it is an awesome thing. It's an awesome thing to know what your calling is. It's an awesome thing to know what the purpose of the day is, or what you need to go achieve. And it's awesome to be passionate about it. But you got to be real careful that you don't forget to rest. So if you don't take time to recharge, you can't be a benefit to anybody. So that's the other thing I want to make sure I tie in for the listeners is, all of the stuff we're talking about is great stuff. But if you don't have this balance, or this thing called life, If you're not focusing on finding a way to get at least 7 hours of sleep, not 6, not 5, not 4, you're finding a way to get at least 7 to 8 every night. You're finding a way to be better about eating the right things. Like that's something I'm struggling with myself. Like I'm just saying things that I know that I'm struggling with too. But the reality is all of this stuff works together, man. And we can have, like I heard something that was real powerful. My wife sent me. It was talking about this guy that was a business owner and an entrepreneur. And he was saying everybody wants to say all these awesome scriptures, but they're not reading the fine print. Faith without work is dead. If we are not putting the work in, nothing's going to realize. Things don't just come to you. Things aren't just giving to you. And the things that are just given to you, you don't either appreciate or they don't last. So how do you make sure when you think about tying passion to purpose that you're putting the work in? You're not just hoping somebody else does the work for you. You got to carry your own cross. So that's the thing I want to make sure I drive home. I'll turn over to Greg and Ken to see if they have any other thoughts or questions. And then we're going to do some final thoughts. And that's going to be a wrap for episode 1. I'm really excited, and I've been really enjoying this dialogue, guys.
Yeah, no, I've just been enjoying just learning from the both of you. And shoot, Ken, I already consider you a new brother in my book. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy being surrounded by intelligent, passionate, and genuine energies, right? We done just came out of a crazy COVID where we was in isolation trying to essentially all rebrand ourselves and figure out what is next for us. So this whole conversation, I think it just fuels all of that. But I do have, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll hold my question for Reg to introduce it. But yeah, we can. I'll let you continue, bro.
Man, I appreciate everything, bro. I definitely appreciate your kind words, Greg. And yeah, you a brother of mine already, dog, too. I mean, from the moment you tapped in on the group chat. See, they don't know about the group chat. I already know locked in, brother. Got you know. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. So man, appreciate that, man. And I'm just like speaking what I know. That's all I know how to do, is just speak what I know. And it's like we're in a unique situation, man, because we have to understand, especially just as men, there's a narrative and a push that's on us to like know stuff and do what we know to be right with the stuff that we know. So like, just, you know, if you know right, do right, and you have to be a provider and XYZ, but everybody don't have it figured out. So my question to y'all is like, what would you say to like a young man or old man who's listening to this podcast right now, Reggie, and he don't have a clue what his purpose is? How do can you give me a hint?
Man, phenomenal question, bro. I'm darn near 30 years old, and I still feel like I'm figuring out that answer to that question. Let me take a step back. My mother always challenges me, and there's days I struggle with this, but she always challenges me when you're looking to figure out the what and the how. Reflect over the story of your life. So what I would say to somebody young or old is, how do you have a storybook or storyboard? You're the type of person who likes to write, you know, how do you look at your life as a storyboard in a script or in a visual way to take it from year 0 to however old you are? What are those highlights in your life where you saw, man, I was excited about that, or man, I did something really well here? Like, find those highlights in life, and those are like the whispers or the secrets of what that purpose or call is. For me, there were moments where I had situations where I was having a stammering of talking, and I didn't have, you know, the most confidence, and I was like, oh, I never could do that. And then later in life, when preparation came in, the difference of what happened when I feel like I'm Batman. Like, if you give me prep time, I'm a dangerous man. But I'm answering the question of Ken to say this. How do you find a way to reflect over those key moments, those down moments, those high moments? What are the things that motivated you? What are the things that resonated with you? What are the things that you remember? Because a lot of the times, myself included, I don't dream like that, but the things that I remember, I don't forget. Good, bad, indifferent, all of that. So how do you take time to reflect? And then the other piece of this is go get feedback. Who's around you that truly knows you, that's close, that can tell you, you know what, man, you're really good at this. You may not think you're good at this, but you can do this. I got plenty of people like that in my life that tell me different things. And that's why we're here today on this podcast, even though I've been making excuses for years. Like I told Ken before I even did this has been like 11 years in the making without me even knowing. And there was a moment where I was reflecting on my life and I was like, man, God, you knew. For those that don't know, I started a YouTube back in 2020, didn't touch that till 2023. And here we are right now about this podcast, and I'm putting episodes on YouTube. But he knew that I needed to start it in that COVID-19 moment while I was really going through, because he knew it was going to happen while he was working on me. So saying all that to say that there's a story and a call, and there's an answer if you peel back the pages and the layers, but you got to put the work in to figure out what that is. You got to reflect for yourself. You got to take the notes or visualize, but then go get feedback from people that you trust that can give you the real perspective, the raw truth of who you are.
That's tough, bro. And I have a few things that I can align with you on, especially when it comes to like listing out some of those like key attributes that are positive or influential to you. I think the simplest way that I can answer that is surround yourself with people and things that you like and enjoy. And I say that simplistically because, again, the things that speak to you are always like natural energies. They're natural synergies. They're things that you just gravitate towards. So if you want to find your purpose, heck, even before that, just ask God what it is and ask for him to show you and reveal to you and speak to you in ways that only he can. And there are different forms of that, right? Some people, it's journaling, it's writing, and just like Reggie was talking about. What are the things that I like about myself? What are the things that I naturally feel like I'm good at? What are the dreams and aspirations that I have? Whatever. Some people are spoken through other people, through community, right? And people who they feel like they can relate to. Some people through signs, symbols, weird synergies. Like it's different ways, but just being vulnerable to ask God, hey, I really want to figure out what's next for me, and I'm not sure what it is just yet, but God, if you can help me kind of just be open and make sure that my posture is receptive to what it is that you have next for me. That's what I'm looking for. Talk to God like he's your brother or your sister or family member. Like he wants that kind of close-knit relationship. But along with that, while you're in the process, some of the tangible things that you can do is surrounding yourself with good people and people that are doing positive things or surrounding themselves in influential circles. And that'll you'll be surprised based on the rooms you're in, the kind of influences that'll come around you. Because energy is contagious, good and bad, right? So once you do certain things like that, you'll start to just you'll feel different things will spark to you, right? Like I'm being very intentional about, like, I'm transparently, I am very bad. I haven't been great about reading scripture. I'm referencing a lot of stuff, but I really want to get just closer in the message and in the word. So I've been really diligent the past like week and a half, almost 2 weeks of like, for real, just reading a scripture every day. I started in the book of James. Like that's not even the first book of the Bible, but James was one of the first books that I just resonated with because it was small, simple, and I just digested the message really well. That's where your faith without work with faith without work is dead. That's where that came from, the book of James. So I'm reading now and just trying to just download some messages in my mind to see what comes of it. Like there are so many powerful things in the book, but if I don't legitimately read it, I won't even have a chance to figure it out. I won't even have a chance. But find those people or those areas that resonate with your spirit naturally, and use them to figure out how you can spark that next thing. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to get started. That's why I'm so proud of Reggie right now. Like I'm proud of him because he just got started. Like yes. This is the I'm graced to be on the first episode. I don't know what's gonna come of this. I don't know how many other special guests he's gonna have, but somebody like, I'm gonna speak it now, bro. ET might be on your podcast one day.
Yes.
The hip hop preacher might be on your show one day just because you started this. Just because he saw it. Just because somebody tagged him in it. Like, you don't know what's to come of it, but because you opened the door, now you didn't gave God permission to blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You gave him permission because you opened it. So now we're just doing the small things of just talking about purpose and trying to fulfill what our purposes are. And even through conversation, we might learn that we have a whole new purpose and new passions and new things will come about it just because you're putting yourself in the room to be unlocked to greatness, right? Whatever that means for you. So that's my simple yet complex definition of trying to find your purpose. Put yourself out there and see what happens.
Man. So Greg, I want to give you a chance to ask your question, and then we're going to end with some final thoughts here. This has been real powerful. Somebody needs to hear this, man. So I'm a firm believer, and it's about the one. It's not about the masses. It's not about being seen. It's not even about the platform. It's about the one. So whoever that one person is on this line that's listening to this podcast, I really hope this is encouraging you like it's encouraging me. So Greg, go ahead and ask your question, bro, that you had, and then we're going to do final thoughts.
Yeah. I'm going to ask the other one. All right. So I wrote down. So this is for both of you. Have either one of you like empowered anyone else recently that actually ended up speaking to you in the same breath, in the same realm? Like, have you all had a moment where you found yourself like kind of speaking life or just being a light to somebody else, and then you kind of reflected on it? It was like, man, that actually speaks to me more than I even originally planned for it to.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna be brief. One brother that comes to mind is my friend Jarrell Jones. Jarrell, if you're listening to this right now, I'm real proud of you, bro. I know all the things I went through in my early 20s. I had no idea God had me go through all that for Jarrell, so I could be able to speak life into him with the situation he's got going on. So I'm not gonna put his business out there, but what I will say is Jarrell recently, a little while back, led a Bible study for our Bible study and was talking to us about balance. And that spoke to me, man. And I was so proud of that brother because everything he was saying, he's struggling with, right now, right here, right now. He's looking to try to make a change. And it was just really encouraging for somebody I was talking to for months. And again, I was down while I'm talking to him. But for him to be able to step up and to do something I know he wasn't comfortable with and to speak like that really, really encouraged me, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jarrell too, man. Jarrell, he is that brother be working. Let's put it like that. He be big working, dog. He rivals, like he comes under the heading of Moses and all great men under work. Man, honestly, recently I just had a conversation, and mine's gonna be brief too. But yeah, man, I just had a conversation with my mother last night. A lot of times, like as it pertains to like spirituality and getting into like the higher levels of speaking spiritually, I'm most of the time like introducing her to those things. Not that she's lower than me or not that I'm higher than her, but I just tend to venture into places where you really don't understand it and you have to be okay with that. And she told me something last night that really just it kind of checked me a little bit, because we were getting all into crazy spiritualness and I was just sharing something that God had put on my heart and I was taking it like 12 different angles. And she said, son, I just want to tell you something before we get off the call. I said, okay, what is it? She said, now I want you to remember that you may have a mother that may not be able to always, cook you the best meal, but you definitely have a mother who can nourish your soul spiritually. And it hit me heavy. And the reason it hit me heavy is because sometimes when you're always speaking to a person, you forget that you're also speaking to yourself. Mm-hmm. So when a lot of times I have to catch myself, even when I'm talking to individuals who I don't know, to be like, Kenneth, I need you to talk to them, not at them. And I guess her saying that really allowed me to realize, no, like, she has a lot to offer you on this specific part of your life, even though God is taking you a different angle. And don't forget that. And man, it's just always good to have situations like that, man, where we pour into people and people who we pour into can pour right back into us, man. So yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely.
That's great. All right, final words or final thoughts, guys. For those that's listening to us right now, what would you want to leave them with in regards to everything we've been talking about related to purpose?
I think I want to just have people chew on, and this is for myself too, which is why I was going to ask the question, what do you want your next level of growth to look like? Like, if you can just think about it, sit and chew on it. Like, for you right now, where you are, what do you want your next level of growth to look like? And again, trying to stay on brand, that could be, I want to get up and before I even touch my phone, I just want to say how grateful I am to God that I'm sitting here, laying here, I am awake, and I have an opportunity to just get 1% better. Something that I've shared with Reggie before. Like, it's not about a full 365. It's just 1% a day, 1% a day. So what is your 1%? What is that next level of growth look like for you? And just meditate on it, think on it, write it down. I'm really pouring into, writing things down and making it plain. I've been really spoken to a lot with that, and I've seen it happen in my life in small ways, where just writing your goals and dreams and then being able to look at them every day and see them and speak them. That's been a testament in my life as it pertains to like me getting my engineering degree. Because Lord knows, if it was me by myself, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I tell my friends all the time, Reggie included, like, you all helped me get my degree. My peers helped me get to the level that I'm at, because I wouldn't have made it myself. But in that journey, writing down some of my tough classes and tough situations that I didn't have a choice but to get through, but didn't know how I was going to do it. Like, having it there and having that daily reminder just kind of gave me that fuel to just push through. And he did it. He made it happen. And I have been changed in that regard ever since. So what's that next level for you? Think on it, meditate on it. And I don't even know if you all have an answer, Reg and Ken, but just think on that. And I'm going to do the same for myself.
Yeah, man. I think the only thing that's coming to my mind right now, something I would leave people with, is it costs what it costs. To whom much is given, much is required.
That is good. It costs what? Okay, I'm gonna be quiet.
Man, I'm gonna keep it on brand because we're talking about EmpowerNOW. I want to put what Ken said back to my favorite superhero of all time that I've been living my life, like just being really excited to see. And I remember all the way back when the first Spider-Man movie came out, and I saw it with like Greg and my friends, and to see that come full circle, 20 plus years later. With great power comes great responsibility. And we're talking about the first P, empower, purpose. I encourage you, stop focusing on what the future looks like. Focus on what is your purpose today. And if you ever need a reminder of why you're here and you don't know what your purpose is, put your hand on your heart or your hand on your wrist. And if you're feeling a beat, that is the confirmation that there is work yet to be done. That is the confirmation that there's still purpose. The other thing I want to say in regards to purpose and kind of final thoughts is, rather than putting so much undue pressure on yourself, and beating yourself up and saying what you aren't. Start saying what you are. Start asking yourself the question, why not me? Instead of why is it me? Or why can't I do this? Or I don't believe I can do this. I just really, really, truly believe when you start changing the perspective and the mindset that you have, you can do more purposeful things. You can be more used to somebody else. But sometimes we got to get our own way. And that's me talking to myself. But there's definitely days where I'm in my own head and I'm making all these excuses and I'm telling myself what I can or can't do. But get out your own way. Stop trying to have all the answers figured out and ask yourself the question, what is my purpose today? And again, to keep it on brand with the Empower Now, start thinking to yourself, how can you empower somebody else right here, right now? So with that, I don't want to belabor it. Thank you so much for your time, brothers. I really, truly believe this was a great start to this Power Hour series. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen next, man, over these next few episodes. So y'all take care. Empower Now Nation, thanks for joining. If it's your first time with us, more is coming. And greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. With that, we're going to break it all out, man. I really appreciate the time, fellas.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, bro.
You too.